Good day, guys. My name is Bamdili Aziz. Our first episode in our training would be tools in Photoshop. Just like we all know, Photoshop is like one of the main graphic designing, editing, photo editing tool we all dream of using because Photoshop is well detailed. The tools on Photoshop are exclusively professional. We have so many tools in Photoshop that makes our Photoshop one of the best, in fact, the best photo editing application. So let's go straight to business. So guys, this is it. This is our Photoshop page. Uh, for those of you who will be downloading Photoshop for the very first time, this is exactly what you'll be seeing, except from the back display, which is showing my recent files, some of the things I've edited. But for yours, it's going to be very blank. Now, it's going to show you this dialog box, and this dialog box is actually going to take your layout prescription. And now, this is it. By the left, we can see our recent sizes 1080 by 1080, 1920 by 1080, so many templates I've worked with. But now we are going to focus on the right side. The right side is showing the width, the height, and the resolution. Now, let me first of all talk about the resolution. When designing, you have to be very careful the kind of resolution you work with. I advise my students to make use of 300 for their resolution because 300 is like a universal agreed size, depending on the size of what you do, because your resolution actually means your pixel per inch. It talks about the detailed inch of your size. Sometimes you see some pictures that are blurry because their resolution is not high enough. Now let's go straight to our width and our height. Some of us know our width and our height as our length and breadth. Some of us know it as, well, in whichever way you know it. All I mean is the wideness is the width, the tallness is the height. So when you have that basic idea, you already know what and what to do. And as you can see here, it's showing you in your orientation, showing you that this is a landscape, meaning your 190, sorry, 1920 is your width, your 1080 is your height. Now, when designing, we have different kind of sizes, but I want us to focus on social media posts. When designing for social media posts, it's always 1080 by 1080. Your Instagram, when you see your Instagram layout, is always a square-like shape. So I would advise you for now, let's work with 1080 by 1080, which is already there. And our color mode, we can see bitmap, we can see grayscale, and we can see RGB color. The RGB color is red, green, and blue color. So we'll be working with that. And the background, of course, is definitely going to be white. So we click on create. Fantastic. Here is our Photoshop layout. So this is our farmland. Now I'll be making use of farmland because what we're about to do, we're about to plant. When you see farmers, when they go to the farm, they hold different kind of tools. You see farmer hold hoes. You see farmer take up the sprinkler system. You see farmers take up wheelbarrow, cutlass, and so on. So that's who we are. Also, as a graphic design, we have so many tools we make use of. The only difference is that some of our tools, or most of our tools, is there virtually on our system. We can't hold them unless we hold the mouse. So the mouse is like our hand, which we use in making use of all these tools. Now, as we can see, this very first tool by the left. Now let's look at the left. We're looking at the left right now. We can see the move tool. From the word move tool, we all know that this tool is actually used in moving objects. Next, we have the rectangular macro tool. Now, the rectangular macro tool is actually used in selecting imaginary selection. Imaginary, as you can see, there's a sampler video there showing you the work of that tool. And next, we have the polygonal lasso tool. The polygonal lasso tool is actually a tool used in selecting also, but performs different options. You can use it to select, you can use it to cut. So many beautiful things this tool can, can do. Before that, I would like to notify you to something. When you see some of these tools, you see some of them, we see this arrow like icon at the right corner down of each tool. Not all of them actually, but some of the tools. Now, this means that this tool have some embedded tools in them. That's not the only tool there. So when you right click, on the norms, when you want to select, you left click. But now when you right click on that arrow, you will see some of the embedded tools. Just like the move tool, we have the move tool itself and we have the artboard tool. When you look at the rectangular tool, you can see the arrow also. When you look at the lasso tool, you can see other tools embedded. The next tool, we have the selection tool. It's actually called selection tool. But under the selection tool, we have the quick selection tool, the magic wand tool. We have the crop tool and some other tools there. We have we have the eye drop tool. On top of the eye drop tool, we have the frame tool. We have the alien brush. We have the um, brush tool. We have the clone stamp. We have the history brush tool. We have the eraser tool. We have the gradient tool. We have the blur tool. We have the sponge tool. We have the pen tool. We have the horizontal type tool. We have the path selection tool. We have the rectangular tool, the hand tool. We already have something like the hand tool somewhere, but this actually performs different function. So we have the zoom tool and to edit your toolbar, because you can actually customize your toolbar. You can remove some things, add something. So these are the tools we have. You can actually rearrange your tools depending on, it gives you that personalized option to be able to do what you want to do. And we have the, set background color um, dialog display, which shows you the color you are working with, the color you have in you, the color an object is possessing. We have the quick mask tool and we have the change screen mode. Now that's that about that. And let's look at the top icons. We have the file. The file, we have new to create a new layout. We have open to open already saved document. We have the browsing bridge. We have the open as to open a document. We have the close. We have the, as we continue with the training, I'm going to show you some of the importance of this. We have the edit, we have the image, we have the layer, we have the type, select, filter, 3D, view, windows, help. Now let's go to the right button, the right side, going to the right side of our display. As you can see, the thing is, depending on the kind of software you download, that right side is always actually different from each other. When you see some, when you open the app, it's already opened. When you see some, you have to bring it out, But that right side, and I'm going to tell you the most important thing on the right side is your layer. Now, something beautiful about Photoshop is when you design on Photoshop, each object have different layer, each type have different layer, each font have different layer. Everything you import into the workstation have different layer. And lastly, we have our workstation, which is the white background, as you can see. This is where we will be doing our wonders, our magic. Sure you get. Now, let's go straight. So as for me, I like rearranging my tools. You can also rearrange yours or leave it like that. I'm gonna put this back. So I want to rearrange all my tools because um, I need a very organized um, workplace environment because this is my workplace. I have to make sure it is well organized so that I can enjoy my work. Now, the reason why I'm rearranging all this is because I need my work, depending on the screen you use, I need my work station to be very, you know, yeah, as you can see, the size already adjusted so that I can have a better view. Now, let's take a look at this layer. As you can see, this is a point I'm rotating my mouse. This is called layer. When you click on it, now this is how I want my workstation to be, and this is how I want you also to set your workstation so that you can have a better view of what we're about to achieve. Now, this is our workstation. As you can see, it's an empty background. You can actually save this empty background if you feel like your assignment or what you want to achieve is an empty background. How do you do that? You go to your file, then you click on save as. Now, there is something when you want to save anything. When you want to save anything, why are you saving? You are saving because you want to access the file later. Now, I'm saving. How do I want to access my file later? Do you want to access it as Photoshop? Do I want to access it as PDF? Do I want to access it as JPEG? So it depends on the file type you want to save your document as. Now, I'm going to be saving this as JPEG. As you can see, as my save as type here, we can see Photoshop, large document, BMP. You know, most of these save type option, I'm going to expose you to the reason why you need to save as this kind of file as we continue with this training. So I'll click on JPEG, then I'm going to select save in my downloads. I'm going to select work one. First of all, let me create a file, a folder. I mean, today's date is 09 12 23. Sorry, 23. So I'm going to be saving into this folder. I'm going to save as one. Now, this dialog box, you need to be very careful. It's going to ask you of quality. What quality do you want to save as? You know, there are sometimes you might want to save and we actually don't need it for any reason. Okay, maybe just for submission or just for memory or just for saving sake or just for an icon. You know, sometimes you design online and you need that design for icon. You don't want the capacity of the file to be very high. So you can actually reduce or increase your quality. But me, I'm going to leave this as 12. So I'm going to go back to my downloads and I'm going to open my folder. So I'll be closing this folder because this folder is where I'll be saving my work. As you can see, one, so my file is being saved there. I can double click to preview my file and see, you know, what I've done. So I'm actually expecting something blank to display. Exactly. So this is it. I'm going to go back to my Photoshop. Yeah. So let's start. Let's do something. What do I have in the back of my mind? I want to do. So I actually want to do a match. Matches. The match. You know, matches. So yeah. So guys. So like we all know, what do I want to achieve? So what I want to achieve right now, what I want to teach you how to do box. You know, when we were in school, then we are taught how to draw box, and now this is how to draw box. First of all, let me take my brush tool and let me see if I can actually, I clicked on my brush tool and as you can see it has been activated. So I want to see if my brush tool can do what I want to do. Now remember the color I told you, you double click on that color sampler. So it's going to show us different colors we have. I'll click on black. I want to work with black. So let me see. I'm going to do a box like this. Now, do you know how I did this? You're going to hold your left click. You're going to hold it down. While you hold it down, then you drag. So, let's run like this. Then um, is it like this? Do like this. This should have been straight actually. This should have been straight. So I'm going to back, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z. So it's always like this actually. One, two, three, four. I didn't leave my this thing. The time I left it is because I want to move to another node. So I release, I go again, I release, I go again, I release. Wow! I just caged a box in Photoshop. This is actually a great achievement for any of you who is watching, because if you can do this, that means you have a long, you know, if you can do this, that means you've started the journey of being a graphic designer. So there's something about brush. When you draw with brush, no layer is created, which makes graphics design on Photoshop a little bit tricky. So let's back and let's use cool method. Now I'm clicking on this rectangular tool and I drag my rectangle. So this is my rectangle. Now still on my rectangle, I'm still on that tool as you can see. If I try and drag anything again, it's going to create another layer. So what I'll do is to click on the fill. Look at this up. It's showing us the properties of this rectangle. The fill is actually the inner painting of your shape. So I'm going to click on this, which means transparent. When you see anything on Photoshop, a white background with a stroke through, that's transparent. This other one is fill. This other one means gradient, while this other one means texture pattern. Yeah. So what I'll do is to make it transparent. Then the stroke, which is beside, I'm going to give it a black. Then the it's going to increase it. So as you can see, I'm going to move that and leave it. So because I'm still on my rectangle onto, I'm going to click on move tool so that I can move my rectangle all about. And now let me go back to my layer and see if, yeah, so my layer has been created. So what can I do? I need two similar rectangle. So what I will do now is, instead of duplicating, because on your layer you can actually right click, then click on duplicate to duplicate the same properties of your selected object. So you can see I can move, but I can also use a shortcut. I can also use a shortcut. The shortcut there is to click on your control and your alt. I'm holding onto my control and my alt now. Then you drag. Can you see that? I release it. I do it again. I drag. Can you see that? So that's another option. That's the option I make use of most times. So I'm going to go back to my run, and I'm going to do it just like this. Now, what else do I need? I need I need a line to join this and this together. So I'm going to click on the line, connect the nodes. So what I'm going to do is my fill, I can make my fill now black, and try and increase my bread, my thickness. So I've increased the thickness. So how do we like this? You click on, for you to get the properties of that selected object, you have to click on that tool. So what I'll do there is for me to increase the width, I will have to, you know, Let's go back. Yes. Yeah. So I'm going to create it again. Created it. It's just a line. Can make it tick this time around. Just play around it, and as you can see, this is fine art. So we're actually trying to use these. We have so many options to do this. So many options, but as a starter, there are some basic things you need to know. So I'm going to Alt and Control. Then I put this here. Then I put this to here. Then I put this here. Yes. So successfully, I've been able to draw my cube. Now, there's something about designing. When you design and you leave it like this, it's more like you just drew line all through. Now let's go into coloring. Let's now color our design. Some of you just feel like, okay, let me just take my brush. You click on your brush. I select my color, and okay, and I start painting. Can you see that? It says could not complete your request because no layer has been what? Selected. Okay, click on layer. Let me click on rectangular one. So it's saying this shape layer must be rasterized before proceeding. Now there's something about designing. When you select any layer and you see this small icon at the right down button, it means you cannot change the properties of the icon with any other tool except you rasterize that object. So because you can't change the properties of this tool, of this object, you have to rasterize it. But how can you change the properties of that tool without rasterizing? So this is it. You make use of another tool. Go back to that selected tool, which is rectangle. You click on that right side. You double tap. When you double tap, sorry, you just tap once. Okay. I don't want us to use this format because it's asking. So this is it actually. This is what I wanted to show you before. You can do it through here. Choose the color and you know, but this is a very long way. It's going to ask for texture fill, then this and that. But let's do like this. Clicking on its back rectangle, you can see fill, the same fill I told you about the other time. Change to red, change to blue, change to any color you wish like. So that's that about that. And you can also change the stroke, which is the shape outline. So color of your choice, where you feel like. Okay, let me make it red. Let me give it red. So that's that. We go to the next shape. Okay, maybe we select. We click on rectangle back. Click on view. You do this. Then you click on for your stroke. You put red. So that's that. And let's look at this side now. The challenge here is that what we did actually, we only use two rectangles to form this. If we had used like we've used like 1 2 3 4 5 6 rectangles, it would have been very easy for us to create a color pattern around this. But unfortunately, we won't be able to do that because we only use the light. See, when you're designing, I want you to put your concept in reality because designing is actually reality. It's not magic. Fine, there are some things that you do on your Photoshop and it seems like magic, but it's actually reality. So what I'm going to do, because I'm trying to give my design, then probably I don't need this other rectangle again. This, sorry, I mean line. I don't need this line again. Yep. So I don't need this line. What I do is, okay, there's some, okay, let me just move back. Okay, now let me explain something to you before I do that. Now look at your layers. They are arranged according to their visibility. They are arranged according to how they stand to be, their order. Now when you look at this, your shape, the first shape is actually the first thing, the first man on the list. So it stays on top any other print in your design. The second shape is actually this line, so it stays in another print. Now the last, because we have our background as the last year, that is why all our design can actually sit perfectly on our shapes we bring into the workstation. So what I'm going to do right now is, because I want to make this line invisible, and I already made this first line. When you click on the layer, I already made this first line, because you see these eyes here, means you can see when you close these eyes, then it shows you that okay, this is what this layer is working for, this is what this layer covers. So when I close it back, I expose the eyes, you can see that this is, I can actually delete these if I want to, but I don't want to jump, because yeah, I don't want to move on with professional selections, professional, because there are some things that you shouldn't know now that might prevent you from knowing some primary things as we proceed with this training. So what I actually do is I'm going to move it downward so it can be hidden. So as you can see, we're already having this 3D kind of look. So what I can do there is I want to give this a red shape. Just like I said, you click on the tool, so you can have properties to the tool. You click on stroke, because it's actually the stroke there. Then you release that. So for the other shape, which is the first shape there, you do the same thing. Click on rectangle to click on the stroke, make it red. Yes, as you can see, we now have our cube with two open sides and open roof. So as you can see here, look at this background has been keyed. You can actually unlock the background. There's a lock button here, and actually unlock the background and unlock depends. Unlocking it means you can delete, you can move it, you can do anything on it, because the properties has been locked. So when you unlock it, then click on the layer, then you press delete. You can actually see your design on a transparent background. As you can see that the down part of the cube is exposed. So this gives us a realistic view of our design. Now, this T means test. So we've actually operated with three tools today. We operated on the move tool, we operated on the rectangle tool, and we are operating now using the horizontal type tool. So what I'll be doing is I'll type cube. So I can control A to highlight what I've typed. I didn't select any other thing, because when you select that, you can change the layer. As you can see, your layer is still active on the type. I put it on 72. Or when I click on my move, so it's going to show me in the nodes to drag my my writings. I can double tap to reactivate the selection cube. I can control A, click on this color bar to change my color to black cube. Then I can just put it like this. We have it like that. And what else can we do to this? So those three tools actually determine this. Apart from the dialogue, the color sampler down here that shows us color, color background and the rest. So you can watch this video over and over again for you to know the things done and how to use the necessary tools. And don't forget our layers. So we have in total we have one, two, three, four, five layers. The last layer. Now let's cover all the layers and let's see. So our first layer is actually our shape when we created our line. And the reason why this didn't stand separately is because I created the line with the same layer. Do you understand? If I'd created the line and I clicked on another layer, the line would have been a different layer, just like this shape one, as you can see. So I created my shapes and let's click on this. Okay, this is my cube to test. What about this? Okay, this is the other side of the cube and this is the assembly. So now let's go save this as well. I told you file, save as, downloads, my file type, JPEG. I click on my file. Oh no, sorry, that's the date 09 12 and I save it as 2. Enter. It's going to show me that level as well. Yeah. Wow. So we are done with our first episode on tools in Photoshop. Just like you've all known, we actually learned how to use 4 different tools in Photoshop: your move tool, your rectangular tool, your color sampler, your brush, and we also know the importance of our layer. We have our layer at the right side of our Photoshop workstation, and we know that for us to alter anything in our Photoshop, you must select your background, your layer, because your layer is actually your positioning, is actually what is carrying your work. Different layer with their different objects, so that's actually very good. And remember to share, send this link to your friends, to your family, and encourage them to subscribe, because this is actually a free tutorial. We'll be having this every Saturday on the same channel, so don't forget subscribe to my channel for more exciting and more educating videos. Thank you very much. Bye.